Hey everyone, Kurt here. This episode, Jen and I talk about Dharma, your calling, your life's purpose, what you're here for. We tell some fun stories, we talk about some serious stuff, we go off on a little tangent about texts versus phone calls. It's all in good fun. I really hope you enjoyed the show. Hey Jenny.
Hi, honey.
How's it going?
Once again, we're here on a Friday. We've fun packed and we've, made our conclusions. And my conclusion for the current moment is I'm great and really happy in life. And I think that prompted us to kind of have a conversation around Dharma.
Dharma? That's a new word to some people. What does Dharma mean? It sounds like karma, but it's Dharma. Are they from the same schools of thought?
They are from the same schools of thought, but Dharma means your life purpose. We've got a really chatty kitty cat here who wants to come up on our lap.
Yeah, that's Little.
Yeah,
Little's going to be on the show too. Little's got important things to contribute.
Little's a very spiritual cat.
Yeah, Little is a very spiritual cat.
He likes the Dharma conversation.
Yeah.
He's like, let me in you.
And Little was in bed with me this morning, and then I heard you shuffling your cards as you went to do every morning to talk to your angels, archangels, goddesses, get your affirmations, your messages. And as soon as you started shuffling, I felt Little like stirring and like stretching out. And then after a couple of shuffles, he finally got up and hopped in, and I heard you say like, "Hi, Little."
Yeah. I was excited.
So anything spiritual going on? Yeah, if I'm in a pretty good meditation, I got some good energy going. Yeah, Little's going to come running in.
Yeah, he's a spiritual cat. He really enjoys
cat.
it.
You are, Little.
Right?
You happy you got on the show?
Look, he's like, I wanted to be part of the show.
Well, now you are.
Here you are. Say hi to everybody.
So yeah, we were fun packing, and we realized we were both in a good zone. And that's all for me having one of the worst days yesterday. But you can bounce back in a day.
You should be able to bounce back in a day.
Ideally, you should be able to. Well, sometimes a lesson makes you process for like a period of time.
I think
sometimes
when you get experience at it, it should be you acknowledge where you're at, and then because of the work that you put in of practicing, getting rid of it and transitioning into a better headspace. Like, that'll come more quickly.
I think I get what you're saying. Oh, so you can unpack every day, process every day. Even if the day threw you a little, twisted you a little, by the end of every day, you should be able to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That makes sense.
That's kind of the goal.
I think Dharma, living your life purpose, I think one of the signs that you're in your Dharma is that you can do that every day. And if you can't do that every day, if life is too much for you, then I'm just going to hypothesize that you're probably not living your Dharma.
Yeah, agreed.
The funnest dharmic experience of your life. The funnest. Where Dharma came in and showed you something in a fun way.
I feel like you have one.
No, I don't. This is great. No, I like the idea of the topic. I wish I had one.
Because I'm scanning my brain.
And we can edit this.
Something that's fun.
And we can edit out us scanning. But I'm just going to go there. This is life telling me that I'm not ready to handle certain things.
Oh.
This is life. This is a time when life was telling me, you can't handle this, man. You can't handle this yet. And I'm glad I became 45 years later a person who feels like they can pretty much handle anything.
Did you say 45 years?
Yeah, 45 years later, I feel like I'm a person. Yeah, so this happened when I was 5. So I can't even believe this is real. Kindergarten. I went over someone's house, and
oh no. I think I know this story. I think I know it.
I had 5 years of experience under my belt, and I didn't have any experience with this. Mm-hmm. The friend whose house I was visiting had a brother who had special needs, was
mentally disabled.
So different that I never knew such a thing was a real thing. Mm-hmm. This is my first experience of such a thing being a real thing. In retrospect, had somebody set me down and talk to me beforehand, I'm not saying anybody would have even thought to do this, but if I could go back in time and tell little me something, I'd be like, look, you're about to go over this house. I just want to talk to you before you go. People exist in this world in different ways. You're only seeing what you see so far, but some people can't walk, some people can't see, there's different ways people are that you don't even know about. Like I would have prepared little me. Mm-hmm. So I go over the person's house and I really liked everything, but my little brain couldn't handle what I was seeing. I couldn't handle it. And I literally crapped my pants. Like literally. If Dharma's trying to tell you that you can't handle something, then you have a little growth to do. If you crap your pants, that really gets your attention. Yeah. And not from food poisoning. If you crap your pants from fear, that's a sign, Dharma. That's a gentle sign that Dharma is giving you that you can't handle this, whatever it is. God. So I remember the person lived around the block from me, like a full half block. And I'd say a block was a half a mile. That's how long a block is. I remember walking home because I think the mom knew right away when it happened and was like, oh, maybe you should, it's getting late, maybe you should go home now. Or something like, I'm sure it was very polite and made like it was nothing. But I think in my little brain, I knew like that they knew. And I remember walking home and it went from like my underwear to down my leg.
Oh my God. This is some
and
story.
I so remember my mom like washing me off in the shower and like, why didn't you tell someone you had to go to the bathroom? And I don't think I could even, my little me.
And you have the words.
I don't even think little me could express what I experienced with the words.
Yeah.
So that was Dharma saying, this is something that's real in life and something you're not ready to face. So that's my fun 5-year-old Dharma story.
I don't feel like I could even touch that.
No, just tell your own story. You can't touch that.
No,
that's my own personal
really
crazy.
Some story.
I'm glad I was only 5 and not like 12.
Oh, yeah.
although if you crap your pants, it's legit. Like I could be walking down the street. I'm doing my supernatural podcast, and some people believe in Sasquatch and some people believe in UFOs, but some people believe in something that's like a werewolf called the dog man. I don't know, I'm just getting into exploring stuff, but I could say this: if I was walking down the street one night late and it was dark and like a werewolf type thing just ran by me and like stopped and looked at me for a second and then kept running,
oh my God.
Just that experience, even if they're like 20 feet away, could I crap my pants? Maybe. That's an interesting topic. If you don't have a thing, what in life would make you crap your pants? I could say if I saw a werewolf and it just looked at me for a second and then kept running, to twist your mind to think werewolves are real and like one was just standing in front of me. Mm-hmm. You may not actively crap your pants, but you might find after the werewolf ran away that you look back and you're like, oh wow, I just crapped my pants. Oh my God. That was scary. Anything could do that for you?
No, I just can't imagine doing that.
So wait, you never crapped your Wait, am I the only one? Paul, for those of you who are brave, how many of you in your life have literally crapped your pants?
Let's see how many people write in for that.
1%?
So I'd like to take it back to Dharma. And
I was talking about Dharma.
Yes. And I was going to say a nice story. Like I had a nice one of when the very first time that I met you, when we went to Eric's house, and I remember Eric answered the door, gave him a hug hello and said hi, and then we walked over to his island in the kitchen, and you came into the room and like you stood across from me on the island and like we said hi, and I just remember looking at you and like feeling my stomach actually drop, and just I knew immediately you were the person for me. I felt it with my entire being.
That's really cool.
So to me, I feel like that's an example of Dharma in action. Like, here, this is the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with.
Isn't it romantic?
So you had a shit your pants story, and I had a romantic love story. I remember it quite clearly.
That was a wonderful moment of our lives. Oh, I wanted to go back. Like, let's go back to as early as we can remember, like moments in our life that we can, when we thought we were living our Dharma, and it was clear because of this, that, and the other thing, and then moments when it was clear we wasn't living our Dharma. Does anything come to mind for you?
The first thing that comes to my mind.
How old are you?
I was 18 and just finished my first year at Quinnipiac.
Wow.
And I came home and said, I'm not going back. I'm going to stay home and go to Hofstra. I want to be home. And I remember registering for my classes at Hofstra, and when I went and had to pick my courses, I hated my schedule. I thought it was awful. It was not landing on me at all. And I was kind of tormented by it. And then I finally, I just knew. I was like, I just said, I don't want to go here. I want to go back to Quinnipiac. And so a week before classes started, I re-enrolled and was able to go live with my friends. And I had the schedule I wanted. And so it was like I almost was stepping off of my Dharma, my path, and I listened to myself and I followed the signs to go back because it was easy. And then, of course, when I made that choice, it was easy. Everything just fell into place.
This is a great example. I love it. I got to ask a couple of questions because I was listening to you as a listener and I was like, oh, I want to know this. I want to know that. How many days did it go on where you were like, this doesn't feel right.
Weeks.
Doesn't feel
it
right.
went on for weeks.
So you could every day you couldn't unpack per se. Every day when you went to bed, you were like a little like tweaked. A little,
yeah, and I the thoughts I had were, you know what, maybe I'm just scared, and that's what that is.
Oh, so you try to play it off.
Yeah,
right?
I was trying to play it off, and then I was like, I don't think this is really what I want.
Now, which begs the question: what was it about you making that decision in the first place? You were going to Quinnipiac, you had a year, and you're thinking, Quinnipiac's in Connecticut, probably like an hour and a half, 2 hours from your home, and then Hofstra would have been like 20 minutes, 25 minutes from your home on Long Island. What first prompted that change? Like, I'm going to go to Hofstra here.
I thought my first year at Quinnipiac, I felt like I was home a lot. I went home a lot. And so... and maybe I was feeling like I didn't entirely fit in. So I was like, well, I'll just go home. But then I just felt a pull to go back. And so I had to follow that because that felt right.
And then it's obviously the right decision. All the really nice, wonderful people you met. And Andy was during that time too. The best boy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great example.
So... that's mine. What's yours?
You know, you have a great one because it's all one story and it shows off your Dharma, on your Dharma. Mm-hmm. The first thing that comes to my mind for me for off your Dharma, becoming really good at wrestling wasn't my Dharma. Mm-hmm. Having fun wrestling was my Dharma. Mm-hmm. Meeting people, having the camaraderie, the friendships, everything that came out of it, having really great coaches.
Yeah, that was your experience of it.
That was it. Great. I wasn't supposed to be really good. Mm-hmm. And I know that because I remember deciding, you know what? Sometimes you got to put effort in, and I want to be good this year. I'm going to put the effort in. And so I was putting my effort in, probably not even a full week. I probably put my full effort in 2 days, 3 days, and I sprained my ankle and I was out for the season. So that wasn't my Dharma. I wasn't supposed, that wasn't, for whatever reason, at the time, I was as bummed as anything. I was like, damn. Tried to go back too early before the injury was healed. Sprained it again.
Oh, what a nightmare.
Yeah, so.
Can
so
I
that's an example of, yeah, please.
Do you recall the first 3 days before you sprained your ankle? Do you recall like where your head was at, what you felt like?
I was all in.
How did it feel being all in?
Wonderful.
Do you remember?
It felt great.
Okay.
I felt like oh, I'm putting effort into something. This is what it feels like to really put the work in. Yeah.
You were building momentum.
I had my fire going. I decided, and I was all in.
And then that was a hard stop.
Not my Dharma. Obviously. If it was my Dharma, I wouldn't have sprained my ankle.
Right.
But where would that have led? Maybe that would have thrown me off my path. I know part of the reason it happened was because I sometimes look at child actors, the ones that, I'm not in the know on a lot of things, but I know some child actors get a little jacked up because a little too much happens. Like, you're just a regular person like everyone else, and all of a sudden you're famous. Mm-hmm. And you're a child. If you're not like meditating every day and in touch with yourself, that could throw you off of your life. So I always would think of it that way. Not that I was going to be a child star wrestler. Maybe it would have been too much and that would have thrown me off. I wouldn't have been able to handle it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
That's the way I thought of it. So that's an example of me not living my Dharma.
Or being redirected. Your Dharma was being redirected.
Yeah, you got redirected. You got redirected. Not Quinnipiac, I'm going to go to Hofstra. I just got stopped there.
Well, it's a different form of redirection.
Yeah, it's a no, but I didn't get a this or that. No, you're not going to do this. I would love to finish the story and saying, and that's when I discovered writing. I was sitting there and I started writing. That's not what happened. I was just bummed. I can't wrestle.
Yeah, so what'd you do during that time while you were healing?
I don't remember. I know I wasn't happy. Not depressed, but I loved wrestling. And I was going to try that year. I was going to try hard. And yeah, so I'm sorry I was bummed. Now I totally get it. Like, not your Dharma, man. Too bad you tried that year. You could have wrestled that year just the way you wrestled every other. If you wrestled the way you wrestled every other year, where you just had fun with it, but didn't change anything, wouldn't have had to sprain your ankle. So I'd go back. That'd be an interesting movie. You go back and you tell past you not to try so hard. Look, if you try really hard, you're going to sprain your ankle. It's like a flip on a movie.
Yeah.
Like, don't you go back and tell yourself to try harder or do something different? You don't try as hard. No. You're going to get hurt.
Yeah,
what?
Trust me. What is it with physical injuries and Dharma?
They get your attention. It's easy. Nothing gets your attention like a physical injury.
Yeah.
Because you could be stubborn with yourself. You get bags under your eyes. You're not sleeping at night. You're stressed. Your hair's falling out. That's physical.
I know, but I think it's easier for people to ignore versus maybe something like a break or a sprain. The physical stuff is more like a wake-up call that almost forces you to zero in on like what you need to address and address it.
There's almost like a hierarchy.
I don't know if it's a hierarchy so much as it's just what you need. I mean, it's different. There are different lessons.
Well, let me say this. I'm not going to try and convince you. I'm going to tell you my point of view and why I sound like I'm not disagreeing with you, but I have a different point of view. Uh-huh. I believe it first comes into your emotions, your spirit, your heart. On some level, if you're really in tune with yourself, you know what you should be doing. If you person who processes every day and the end of the day comes and you can't process that day, you have to look at why you can't process that day. And what sticks out to you may be the thing that you're not supposed to be doing or supposed to be doing differently. And that's a mental thing. You didn't have to trip down a flight of stairs. Like you just, I can't shake this day off.
That is hard for people to do.
Yes, agreed. If people aren't doing that, then it ups the ante a little bit. Mm-hmm. Wow, I didn't sleep well last night. I don't know what's going on with me. I have an upset stomach. I don't know.
Are you saying it starts with those things until it gets to the break or the sprain? So it works its way up to that, right?
The other thing would be like, you told you wash your hands before dinner. You tell your kid, wash your hands before dinner. Okay, Mom. And then your kid sits down to eat, and you see his hands are a little dirty, and so you beat him.
It's so harsh.
That's like getting a physical thing off of I had one off day. I didn't have to fall down the stairs. Yeah. You could have just made my heart feel funny.
Yeah. No, I guess the dharmic redirection or attention, it builds. We're trying.
Yeah, there's hierarchies.
Yeah,
it's
try to get your attention.
Yeah, and if at the last call, I think we're very resilient. We're giving resilience to me equals grace. We're giving grace. We're giving grace. We're giving grace. It's emotional. It's mental. Then it starts becoming physical in light ways, sleepless nights, heartburn, whatever. And then I pulled my tendon or something happens. Mm-hmm. What happened? I don't know. It's because Yeah. Life's trying to get your attention.
Yeah, it forces you to pay attention.
Yeah. In a fun way.
Yeah. So that's kind of what it feels like when Dharma is, you're not on it and you're not following it. So have you experienced being in your Dharma?
We're both in our Dharma right now. I think that's why we're having the show, because what a want show it would be if we were both on the flip side of our Dharma, not living our Dharmas, and we both had physical injuries. We were doing this episode from the hospital, realizing we weren't living our Dharma. That would be a horrible episode. I like that we're doing this episode on that. We're both on top of our Dharmas. We both recently took our little trains and put them right on the rails, and they've been chugging for like a few days a week now on the rails of our Dharma, in the flow. We finally went over a few notches, and whoa, we caught that flow, and we're like, woo!
Yeah, we're on the beginning of the ride.
So that's a much funner version of having the show. So yeah, what's it feel like? It feels awesome. Yeah, the days are processed within the days. I guess that's the surest sign. Yeah, we said at the beginning, if you could process your day within the day, because you're gonna it's gonna be fun, but you're still gonna be learning stuff every day.
And how fun is it to be so present for it every day, in it, aware of it while you're in it?
Well, that's just it. That's like a double-sided thing. I think you have to be living in the moment to get there.
Right.
And then when you get there, to be in the moment and there is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a flow for sure. And a lightness. I think for me, I definitely can be in tune with how I'm feeling emotionally and mentally. And the past couple of weeks were a little bit of a downer. And then this week when I started classes, I was like, everything was lifted. And now my heart feels like it could burst from just happiness and feeling so fulfilled.
And I see it on you, and other people see it on you, which is just wonderful. Yeah, it's like there's this light coming off of you, these beams coming off of you that people can't see, but they can see them. They can't physically see them, but on some level, they see them.
Yeah.
It's like a spiritual...
Yeah.
If people are just jumping in on the show, what classes did you just start? What are you doing?
An ayurveda program.
Is that like ancient Indian medicine?
It is. So it's all about finding harmony within yourself on every level. So it's looking at your body and your mind and your environment and all of these circumstances and aligning with your true nature. And I'm just starting this journey of like I'm learning and embodying this, and then hopefully helping other people, and I'm just loving every minute.
Yeah, you're gobbling it up. You're like a sponge, like sucking it up.
Take it all. Give me all the knowledge. This whole week has been magical. It really has been wonderful. I am just grateful and can't believe this is my life right now. And so, yeah, you talk about this is what living and being in your Dharma feels like, is this. For sure.
That's exciting stuff. Exciting times, available to absolutely everyone.
Yeah,
right?
For sure. I mean, it's all about tapping in and checking in with yourself. Am I happy? Do I feel fulfilled? Are there feelings that are coming up within me that are uncomfortable? And what am I doing with them when they come up? Am I ignoring them and just saying I'm crazy and they'll go away? So you kind of stuff them or ignore them? Or do you pay attention because that's a sign that your body is telling you, check in with me? Because when you get those feelings, they're calls to action. They're like saying, you need to face this. And so hopefully more people pay attention to that, because when you pay attention and you act on that, you're always in choice and you're always empowered. And when you act on that, that is what continues to bring you closer to being and living your Dharma.
Yeah, and absolutely everyone, if you have ears,
if you have ears,
you know what? You don't need ears. Everyone who is alive has a flow that is custom made for you, waiting for you to just step into it.
Yes.
And for it to carry you. Absolutely everyone. And if you don't feel like you're in your flow, you got to go within and find it.
Yeah.
By following your emotions, without a doubt. Great topic. Are you living your Dharma? Are you not living your Dharma? I'm talking to you, the listeners. I know this is a show about nonsense and fun, but if you want to throw out a question about Dharma, like how can I know this, how can I know that, we'll see what we can do about answering it. Hit us up at NowThatsNonsense@gmail.com if you have any questions or you want to share your stories.
Yeah, or like send us a message on our Instagram.
What's the Instagram handle? Now That's Nonsense.
It's easy.
I like when everything's...
I was thinking it was Captain Obvious.
I like when everything...
It's good to clarify.
Well, not everything's obvious, because I know for websites, until the podcast produces some revenue somehow magically, I'm doing everything freezies. So all the websites are blogspot.com. I know that drives you crazy because you're in advertising and you know better. But I start out small. Can I be honest? All the podcasts I listen to, I don't go to their websites ever. So I don't think it matters.
Yeah, I don't, for all the podcasts I listen to, I'm not really on anyone's website except Sahara's, because I do send people her quiz, but yeah, that's about it. So if anything, like, I enjoy following them on Instagram. So that's why I think it's our Instagram handle, Now That's Nonsense, and you can message us. Or if you take the time to craft an email, good for you. We're going to be there 100%.
Doesn't email seem like... Email's like the last thing I do
work.
now.
That's work.
Text, like, everybody's got their preferences. The best way to reach me is text. Or through like some kind of messenger of something, or to comment on something that's been posted. Mm-hmm. And email's the last thing that I turn to or respond to or anything. Are you the same way?
No, it depends on my mood.
Depends on your mood?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I'm more in a text mood. Sometimes if email is fine, because I feel like it affords me a little bit of time. So... You
know what I think's interesting, and I'm smiling because I think it's funny? Neither of us mentioned a phone call. What's a phone call?
Who does that? Don't call me. If you want to call me, you text me that you're going to call me first.
I'm the same way. Is anyone else like that? I get, not anxiety, but if you're going to call me, like, I said email's the last thing.
Give me a heads up.
No, like, phone call's the last thing. You can almost show up at my house before you call me.
Yeah.
Even if I haven't seen you in 30 years, if I know you, and I like almost everyone, like, if you show up at my house, I'll be happy. If you call me, I'm going to be like, I'm not getting that. I don't like phone calls. Why don't I like phone calls? We'll wrap up soon. Maybe I'll cut this out, but a little off topic. Like, why don't you like phone calls? By the way, this is weird. We usually go off tangent at the beginning of the show and then get to the topic. Now we're about to wrap up the show and we're talking about phone calls.
Yeah.
What's your version of phone calls? What's your thing?
They seem a little tiring. I think, when you're at work or you're talking to people all day, who wants to have another conversation?
That's an excellent point. When you're texting someone, the text comes in, you give it the time you want, when you have the time to give it time, and then you respond back when you want. It happens organically. A phone call, somebody's calling, and there is no organic. It's happening now.
Well, and you also don't know how long it's going to take.
Yeah, you don't know anything, yeah.
That's why it's good to kind of have phone dates. And so then you know what you're getting into.
You can get a nap beforehand, maybe have a cup of something with caffeine in it.
Yeah.
Get ready.
Yeah, it's like preparing to it's almost like you're going out.
Yeah,
you're going out.
Is this an older person thing? Not that we're old, but you're 40, I'm 51. Is it a generational thing? Or, you know what? Weigh in. Comment on that, and then we'll report back on
Give
that.
us a call at...
Yeah, we want... You know what? Just everyone call us.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to wrap up the show. We were going... Before Jenn and I got into our dharmas, there was a lot of work we had to do. There was a lot of processing we had to do. It didn't happen overnight. There was a lot of processing, a lot of work, a lot of decisions to be made, and then we clicked into our dharma. Mm-hmm. Let's say it took a month for each for us between the processing, the decision making, where we're finally like in it and feeling it.
Well, I think my personal path began, the quest and the journey kind of began around Costa Rica, which was like March. I really embraced every stage of it, of where I was at. So now we're here.
I'm glad you brought that up. So you knowing this Dharma, this path I was on has kind of run its course. I got to jump tracks to get on my next level of my Dharma. And you're saying that process took about 6 months. When you knew your path was turning, the current was turning and going in a different direction, and you knew you had to go with it. And that was like a 6 month process.
I almost think I knew I wanted it to change. I just knew I wanted to change. I wanted a change. I wanted to change. And I didn't know what that was going to afford me that. But I would, in my yoga practice and meditation and my card pulling, ask to always be led to it and get signs and follow them. And so that's kind of just what I did until I landed on Ayurveda and just kind of fully within me knew that's the path I was supposed to follow. And so just naturally took the steps along the way. I just found myself doing them and putting in effort and research and being present for each of that, each piece of it and enjoying it. And so it was kind of like I was chill about following the steps, and everything happened very seamlessly and naturally, and it was very much in the flow. I didn't have roadblocks or anything. Everything was organic. So that's why I know it's led me here where I'm now enrolled and in it. So it's been a really cool past, however many months that's been.
Let's just say for 6 months or whatever. Mm-hmm. I think it's good. I think it's very educational and good for people to know that if you're in something and then kind of your life is calling for a different direction, that it can take 6 months sometimes. And I know you say you were in every moment, but I think it's also good for people to know that even if you're changing directions and you're organically in the flow of changing the directions, that's still going to have off days and processing and this and that, just by virtue of the fact that you were here and now you're going there. And any kind of shift requires processing and everything, even if it's all every step along the way is meant to be and happening the following signs.
Yes.
It's still going to be like have off days here and there.
Your head and your default will pop in and say, am I crazy? What am I doing? Is this the right thing to do? And it kind of gives you that like a little shake up. And then, but it's a good kind of wake up reminder to root into your heart center and say, no, let me check in here. Okay, cool. I'm back. Yes, that's what's making my heart happy.
And then, that's like I think it's a good closing point. How's the best way to know? Follow your heart. Mm-hmm. Your heart knows. Let your head be the servant of your heart, not the other way around.
Love that. Beautifully put.
So, that's it. I think, wow.
Let's hear about the Dharma.
Let's hear. We want to hear. I think we've said we want to hear from you in the past, but I feel like more than ever we want to hear from you. Dharma, life purpose.
Absolutely.
What's more important than that? So, hope you enjoyed the show. Hope it was both light and informative. Hope you got a laugh out of it, but also learned a little something.
You're just being so spot on with your words that I'm going to say ditto what he said.
Ditto.
Him too. Me too.
So, till next nonsense, this has been Kurt.
And Jen.
Peace.
Namaste.